This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast.
Cryptocurrency decrypted.
Welcome to episode 55. About a week ago, one of our favorite Bitcoin startups introduced a $10,000 guarantee for their services. If you've never heard of Purse.io before, we'll explain how it allows you to spend Bitcoin at Amazon while getting a discount in the neighborhood of 20%. We'll also chat about how this new protection policy should make Purse even better. Then later in the show, we'll follow up on last week's discussion about the Bitstamp hack. The exchange is now back online and has announced some new features that should make it more secure. Stay tuned for all that and tons more. Your hosts are Tim Baker, John Stuart, and myself, Daniel Brown. Here we go.
Well, hey everybody, this is Tim with the You, Me, and BTC podcast here today. It is Monday night at 11:30, and this is when we all decided to get together and talk. I've been listening to Daniel and John complain for a little bit about how busy their lives are. No, Daniel took that back.
Yeah, I like to think I've been busy, but I realized that I haven't been even remotely busy, so...
Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a good week, and just want to thank everyone for stopping in and giving us a listen this week.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess Daniel's already been talking, but I'm here with
Daniel Brown
and
John Stuart.
Yay! Okay, all right, we got that done. Yeah, so we were trying to think of things to talk about beforehand. My contribution, as far as things that need to be mentioned, this isn't as much I couldn't really find any news stories that really expounded upon this too much, but just that the Ross Ulbricht, his trial and the whole trial, like, the reason why that's famous, if you don't know, is he was the alleged operator of the Silk Road at the time that it was taken down, and I think they got him first and then shut down the Silk Road, I think, but that's starting tomorrow on the 13th, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully, I don't really see how they can, but hopefully the defense finds some way of... Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say hopefully, because I don't even know how the thing goes. I mean, obviously, I'm prejudiced certain ways, but... So I just automatically hope he's going to get off.
I also wouldn't... I think you said that you weren't really sure how that could possibly happen. I haven't read up on the whole case. I don't know all the details, but I know there were several things that they found in the investigation that could give them a pretty fair shot. Something about inadmissible evidence, and supposedly the FBI broke certain laws when they pulled information from computers and stuff. So
it seems like the case is wholly built off of things they shouldn't have been doing.
Right, exactly. So I wouldn't dismiss that possibility too quickly, but it's also the government, and if they don't like something, they'll take care of it. So
they'll take care of it. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know anything about any of this because I never know anything about the news.
Actually, I don't either. I think, Tim, you were there when somebody was talking about that movie, and everyone looked at me and was like, "What, you didn't hear about this? What was that movie that just came out and people were gonna..."
The Interview.
Yeah. And so that made me realize...
You're like, what happened? North Korea did I was like, yeah.
That made me first realize that I don't know any news. I mean, at that time, I hadn't known any news recently. And then just the other day, I still don't know anything about it other than something in Paris with terrorists or something.
Something
like that.
A cartoonist was killed for some cartoons made that were mocking towards Muslims and Islam in general, and so I think it was gunmen killed him.
Oh wow.
That's why all those Je suis Charlie things are popping up. I am Charlie.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but I believe you.
Okay. that's yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that because it might make me a bad podcaster. I'm supposed to bring you the latest news, right? But that's all right. I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest. Plus, this isn't completely a news podcast, so.
Well, I think you know a little bit more about stuff that's going on with Bitcoin than.
That's true. That's definitely true. Yep. My Twitter feed is packed with it, so come straight to you guys, you listeners. Well, also, before we get to a little more of a significant story, I have a couple more things that I just want to mention real quick. The first thing, and I actually feel somewhat privileged to have been a part of this, Jeffrey Tucker, he is a pretty well-known libertarian, anarchist kind of guy, and he's obviously really into Bitcoin. And actually, for me, it's just yesterday. I mean, it'll be recently for when you guys are listening to this, but he just released a brand new book called Bit by Bit, and it's all about how peer-to-peer technology, including Bitcoin, but also several other things, it's just about how all these amazing peer-to-peer technologies are just changing our world completely. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing yet, but it's a fascinating subject, and he's an amazing writer, an amazing person. We've had him on the show twice before, I guess, for interviews. So check those out if you're interested, and check out the book. It's on his website. His project really is liberty.me. Actually, the book is for sale on Amazon for like $8 or something, but you can join liberty.me and get the book and a ton of other stuff for $5. So if you want to do that, you can. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. I wrote a little bit about that today for my Bits and Pieces column. I said how I wanted to take some time and explain how Bitcoin is peer-to-peer, what makes it peer-to-peer, and why that's such a good thing. So I wrote a little bit about that today, if you want to read that. So anything else, guys, before we move on?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, one thing that I'm fairly excited about for today, although kind of nervous too, because, well, I'll explain. I'm pretty excited because I have a brand new microphone. Apparently, John tells me it's one of the best microphones that there is. Apparently, almost everything that you hear on the radio uses one of these microphones, or at least a significant portion of broadcast is through this microphone. So that's awesome. I'm really excited. I'm glad I got this. But like I said, I'm also a little nervous because I don't know how to use it. I mean, I know how to use it, but I don't know how to use it well. I don't know how to use it right. So I'm still experimenting, and I have no clue how well this is going to sound. How good or how well? How good? I have no clue how good this is going to sound.
I think it's how well. No, good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we're not grammar experts either. Good thing this isn't a English podcast or something.
How bad of a podcast would that be of just people arguing over grammar?
Actually, I would probably listen to that.
Yeah,
that's our next project, guys.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be sad, but
when Bitcoin collapses, we're starting a grammar podcast. We'll call it the Grammar Hammer. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh, yeah, I don't know how good my microphone is going to sound. I don't know if I'm using it right. Anyway, as long as you can understand what I'm saying, I hope you enjoy it. I hope I enjoy it too. And I hope I figure it out a little bit more. But this actually ties in really well. Holy cow. this ties in really well with a pretty important Bitcoin story that came out, I want to say a week or so ago. I bought my microphone on a website called purse.io, which we've talked about it before. We've been actually, we've dealt with the creators since before the service was even released. And we've had one of the creators on the show before, twice actually. So yeah, like I said, we're really involved with this. We really love this place. It's purse.io. And what they do is they let you buy stuff on Amazon with Bitcoin and you get a discount. I don't want to spend too much time explaining it because it's a little bit complicated and you can look it up if you want. Basically, somebody else buys an item for you with their credit card or with an Amazon gift card. They buy the item for you. It gets shipped straight to you and they get your Bitcoin. So they can buy Bitcoin with a credit card. You can buy Amazon things with Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I bought my microphone on purse.io. I got, I set my discount at, I want to say 27, 28%. And then after the fees, it was still a 20% discount, which that saves me $90, that's a lot of money. I'll take $90 any day. So that's cool. And I guess we'll jump into this news bit then. It's with purse.io. This is actually from an email that they just sent out. There's a couple news stories out there, but I figured, heck, why not just take it straight from Purse themselves. This email was sent on January 7th. What they're doing now, this new thing, is a Purse $10,000 spender guarantee. So from now on, any purchase you make on Purse is covered for $10,000 if you're scammed or if, I don't even know what else could go wrong. But if something goes wrong, you're covered for $10,000. And actually, they say in here that they have very few issues. They said they've had only 4 issues, 4 bad transactions out of 10,000. So, I mean, that's got to be, what is that, 0.1% or something? 0.05% maybe? It's a really small percentage of problems. They say 3 of them were from gift card reversals, and those were refunded. They covered those. And then this last one, they actually explain a little bit here. A few weeks ago, the home of a user named, I'm going to say Winkle. It's VNNKL. Maybe that's Winkle. I don't know. But his home was searched by the authorities as a result of a purchase he made on Purse 6 months ago. Through an internal investigation, we discovered that the counterparty's activity originated from a hacked computer of another German resident. To Winkle, we are truly apologetic and have offered to compensate lawyer fees and any other expenses related to the incident. So that's the only real problem that they've had so far. And I'll just, this is a pretty short email, so I'll just finish it up. They say, we want to make everything right, and we will implement a $10,000 Purse guarantee, protecting users from any costs related to purchasing items through our website. We will extend this program to Winkle or any other user who happens to report an incident for past purchases. So there it is. That's pretty cool. We wanted to mention that because we love Purse and because this is a pretty cool guarantee. It makes them that much more awesome, I guess. That much more trustworthy, maybe. I mean, I guess you could argue that, well, how do you know that they're really going to cover you for $10,000? And I guess you don't know that for sure, but they've done pretty well so far, I think. It looks, based on that history, they've been covering people really nicely, and they've had very few problems in the first place. So anyway, I feel like I just talked for way longer straight than I should have. You guys have any thoughts on this?
Not really. I mean, I think Purse has been making a lot of changes recently because they've been growing a lot.
That's actually a really good point. They've redone their website and stuff and just tweaked some things in the way the system works. Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some things that I don't like that they've done recently. Some of it just the website design. I think it's a little bit more difficult to get around and figure out what you're trying to find on the site than it used to be. But I think they're still doing a lot of great stuff, and I think some of the changes are kind of inevitable. Well, part of it is that the fees have gone up recently, but
yeah,
I'm sure the two guys who created it used to do all the customer service themselves. They're having to hire more employees now because they can't handle it. So obviously it's starting to get more expensive for them because they're dealing with a lot more stuff now. So I understand that. But yeah, and I think this is a good change, this new insurance policy, I guess you could call it.
Right. I want to say real quick, just kind of, I mean, this is a little bit of an opinion thing, but I'll say I haven't found their website really difficult to use, like you kind of said. But to me, it's not so much difficulty of use, but bugs that I've found. Just little things that don't really work like you would expect them to. Especially on my phone. Whenever I go to the website on my phone, it just looks terrible, to be honest. It's completely out of proportion. Although even then, I can still use it. It doesn't look great, but I can still use it. So I guess that's all right. And I'm sure they know that, and I'm sure they're working on it. So it'll probably get better pretty soon.
Yeah. I don't have a smartphone, so I can't comment on that.
Oh, yeah.
When I say difficult to use, I don't mean like putting in like transactions and like moving Bitcoin into your wallet and all that kind of stuff is just as easy. That's no more difficult. I just think that some of this stuff, like if you're looking for details about your account, it's like more hidden than it used to be. You kind of have to know where to look because it's not obvious.
Okay. Yeah, you've used it a lot more than I have, probably.
Yeah, I think they just give you a lot less access to your own information. Not that you can't find it, it's just everything used to be a lot more just like right out there, and I think they're trying to make it look more streamlined. So
yeah.
For people who aren't interested in like details about their accounts and stuff, maybe that's not a problem, but yeah.
Yeah. I also just remembered, actually, no, you remember, Tim, last week we were playing a little bit of a guessing game, and you were mocking me for trying to figure things out that we can't really know.
Yeah, because you just kept on. We were talking about Bitstamp and how they'd had some money stolen from them, and I don't know, for some reason you kept coming back to, but if they are lying, and I was just like, why are we lying? Why do they have to be lying?
Well,
and I know they didn't have to be, but I was also just bothering you about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. That is pretty much what happened. Anyway,
I wasn't really following, but
yeah, don't worry about it. Listen to the episode if you want, but I don't know if you'll even keep following then because it's me and Tim. Who knows where we're gonna go?
Yeah, I haven't listened to that episode yet. I've been so busy, so busy.
Anyway, the reason I brought that up is because, just for fun, again, I want to make a pretty interesting prediction. I have a little bit of evidence for this, which I'll explain, but it's also a little bit of just a weird prediction. I noticed on Purse's website, when you look at the order book, they have a list of orders, and it's just a column or kind of like a table or a spreadsheet. And, it says the amount of Bitcoin that you can buy. It says the effective rate, meaning like when you take into account the fees and the discounts and everything, what rate will you actually be paying for the Bitcoin if you accept this order? Things like that. They just had a list of orders and the details for each order. And one of the columns in that table was, I think it just said type at the top, And in every single order, it was just a little Amazon icon. And I'm like, well, what does type even mean? They're all the same. They're all Amazon. And my prediction is that pretty soon they're going to be introducing different places that you can buy items with Bitcoin. Probably just different online retailers that don't officially accept Bitcoin, but through Purse, maybe you'll be able to. I will use Best Buy as an example because I remember, like I said, we were interacting with these creators before the service was even available. And at that time, I had like a $300 Best Buy gift card that I didn't want to use. I don't really want to buy stuff from Best Buy because it's expensive. So what I was hoping I could have done is used a service like Purse.io. I could have bought something for somebody else with my Best Buy gift card, and they would have given me Bitcoin. That would have been pretty sweet. They didn't have that functionality at the time, but here it is, guys. That's my prediction. I don't know if it's going to be Best Buy, but I think fairly soon they're going to add some retailers. That's my hope.
So I don't know how much I would agree with you. I think you're 50-50. I don't really have any opinion on that. I have no way of knowing whether that's true or not. But you did make me think about something. We should be sponsored by Purse, man.
Oh, I know.
We have been we've been with them since the beginning, and we talk about them all the time. We need to make that happen.
That's a good idea. I will literally, within the next day or two, I'll shoot him an email. I'll let him know that. And I mean, and our prices are insanely affordable. I mean, literally, well, I'm not going to officially say any prices here because they're not always the same, because I can't remember what our prices are half the time because there are no official prices.
It's a wheel and deal kind of thing.
Yeah. The point is, yes, our prices are insanely affordable. We don't want to charge them a ton because we love them. But yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and we'll see what we can do. And even if they don't officially sponsor us, if they decide not to do that, they still get this little bit right here of us saying they're pretty sweet. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I've had no problem with saying that I like them, even if we're not getting paid for it. So it'd just be a bonus to get paid for it.
Right, and I mean, a $90 discount, that's a pretty good payment for something like this.
Indeed.
Actually, I like to think of it as not so much that I got a discount, but I was able to afford an even better microphone because of Purse. So it's not that I spent less money, because I probably would have spent the same amount of money either way, but with Purse, I was able to spend that amount of money and get something better. So that's pretty cool, I guess. You're listening to the You, Me, and BTC podcast. We need your help. First of all, we'd love it if you could check out our website, youmeandbtc.com. There you can find donation addresses for every single article and episode, and we'd love it if you could make use of those. We could also use some fans and followers, so if you're willing, please visit Facebook or Twitter.com/youmeandbtc. Lastly, remember to subscribe to the show. You can do that on iTunes or sign up on our website to receive email updates. Thanks for your support.
Hi again, everybody. Daniel remembered that we had covered Bitstamp last week, and we also mentioned it in this podcast, that we'd covered Bitstamp. Unless he cuts that part out, I'm not sure yet. But we had mentioned Bitstamp last week and the hack that happened there. So I guess I'll just kind of summarize that real quick. Apparently, according to them, for whatever reason they're using this language, it's stated as, on January 4th, some of Bitstamp's operational wallets were compromised, resulting in a loss of less than 19,000 Bitcoin. Not sure why they choose to use the word less than 19,000, because I mean, it's a big number, and then I don't know. It just doesn't make too much sense. It's too big of a number.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's pretty weird. And that's what everybody's been quoting them like that too, including myself. In the last week's show notes, I said that. I said less. I think I did. I said less than 19,000 because that's what they said, and so that's kind of what I felt like I had to say. And you're right, it's pretty weird, but that's what it was all over the internet.
Okay, but Bitstamp told everyone that everybody's money was safe, that the people, that no one was going to lose money, that Bitstamp was going to be able to pay people back if they lost any of their customers' Bitcoin. But what was concerning people was that Bitcoin had gone completely offline, and the day after we did
Bitstamp went offline.
What did I say?
Not Bitcoin.
Okay, Bitstamp went off. Yes, Bitstamp went offline, and I didn't notice it until the next morning. But my Bitcoin price checker, or no, it wasn't the Bitcoin price checker. It was my Mycelium app. I was using it to try to figure out how much money I need to send. And normally, whenever you use Mycelium, when you're putting in how much Bitcoin, it then converts it right to dollars, but it wasn't doing it, and I wasn't really understanding why until I remembered that Bitstamp was down, which would normally go off. Not sure why I added that little bit, but I figured I would.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Anyway, they went down. They're back up now. From Bitstamp.net, there's an article about Bitstamp is open for business and better than ever. They explain that they took the system down for a few days they're basically building up their system from the ground up again. They just revamped the whole system instead of trying to patch it and keep it running at the same time. But they put up the article and they tell us what they have new to offer now. And it starts out with multi-sig. With the integration of BitGo multi-sig technology, Bitstamp is now the first and only major Bitcoin exchange to incorporate the industry's best security practices available today. So, I mean, I think that's huge. Yeah.
I mean, I don't use Bitstamp, so I don't know quite how it works and quite how easy to use it is and quite how secure it is and stuff like that, but just the idea is huge, because what that means is if people are using multisig and Bitstamp gets hacked just like they did, well, they actually can't lose any Bitcoins because the signatures are divided up. So yeah, that's awesome. I will plug real quick though, Coinbase does have a multisig system as well, which I don't know why. I mean, I guess they're not technically an exchange, which is why Bitstamp can say they're the first and only, but Coinbase does have that too, which is a pretty good feature. I'm for some unknown, well, probably just because I'm lazy, but I haven't actually started to use that, which is probably stupid on my part because it should add a ton of security. But anyway, point is Coinbase has it too, and that's pretty sweet. So
next was the completely new hardware infrastructure. The Bitstamp systems are running on 100% new hardware deployed from a completely secure backup of our code and data. So, I mean, that's good that they basically just have 100% backup, or no. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Bitstamp systems are running on 100% new hardware deployed from a completely secure backup of our code.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's new hardware. Like, I mean, I think they just mean new servers, probably brand new from the factory or wherever they make those. I guess that's what that must mean. And then the secure backup is just that. It's the backup that they had from the original system. So, yeah, I'm not sure. They say they have 100% new hardware, but then the next bullet point there is that they're running on Amazon's cloud infrastructure, which doesn't seem like if you sign up for servers with Amazon, I don't really know how you can assume those would be brand new, but I don't know.
I think just brand new for them.
Maybe, yeah, or just like fresh, like they were clean when they started them. Yeah, could be something like that.
Yeah, like Daniel said, it's Amazon Web Services. Bitstamp is now running on Amazon's world-class AWS cloud infrastructure, architected to be one of the most secure and reliable cloud computing environments available. So that's... Do you have any idea what they were doing before? I mean, I don't really know why you would, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably... I mean, there's any number of cloud providers, so I'm not sure, but I suppose there's plenty of reason to trust Amazon. They're a pretty good company and probably know what they're doing, so I mean, that's on some level that seems like a good thing, so...
Okay, and then their final thing on here, and this is all from the name that Daniel didn't know how to pronounce last week.
Oh, yeah.
The CEO of Bitstamp, Nijik Kodrik. They have commission-free trading that they're going to leave open as a thank you to their loyal customers through the end of the North American Bitcoin Conference, which is January 17th. All transactions will be commission-free. And after that, he just goes on to thank all the customers, thanks his team at Bitstamp and their investors, and just something about looking forward to thanking you and all that stuff.
Yeah, so actually, January 17th is still a few days from the release date for this show. This will be out on the 15th, so if you're interested in some commission-free Bitcoin, go check it out, I guess. Well, actually, one more thing that I have to get in here before we close, because I don't know, I'm sure there's a psychological term for this or something, but I'm the kind of person who always has to be right. So I would just like to point out that which I explained last week, and we argued about it for probably about 8 times as long as we should have. But, suppose they did lose $5 million and they really can't cover it. There's a chance that we would never know that because of the way fractional reserve works, and because they could not have that money and nobody would ever really know, because nobody would ever withdraw enough money at the same time. Am I making sense?
Yeah, but this is exactly what you said in the last.
Yeah, no, I
know.
I know. So we're not going to argue about it. I would just like to proudly point out that possibility still exists. That's all.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I will never be proven wrong, because there's always that possibility, right?
Yes, there's always the possibility that someone is not. Pretty much is probably guaranteed there's corruption and everything. Just go with that.
Actually, I will ask John if that makes sense, though, because he wasn't here for my explanation last week.
I still don't think it makes sense.
Did you understand what I was saying, John, about how they could be missing that money and we would never know?
Well, did they ever say that they weren't missing it?
No. Well, yeah, they are missing. It did get lost for sure, but they said they could cover it. They said that they had enough money to cover all their customers' deposits. And my argument was that if they didn't have enough money, it's possible that we wouldn't know that, because people aren't going to withdraw all of the money at once. Just like in a bank, where they don't have all the money, but nobody really notices because not everybody withdraws all at once.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, but would it really matter?
In a bank, it doesn't matter because everybody knows that's what's going on. In this situation, it would matter because everyone, there's no fractional reserve theoretically going on, and any money that customers have on deposit should theoretically be there for sure.
But
anytime.
if no one ever takes it out, though, like,
right, that's what I'm saying. It might never be noticed. Yeah.
Well, if they're saying that they can cover it, I'm sure they're expecting that not everybody's going to take it out right now, but like over time, you don't think they'd be able to cover it?
You're saying, well,
it's not that he doesn't think that they can, it's that he wants to make the point that they could, which is, I think.
What?
I don't know, man. He's been
it's not
fixated
that they
on.
can, it's just that they could.
Yeah, I tried last week to defend them, to try to get them to be more likely to give us money, like that I could just plug them more if they started to give us money, but Daniel wasn't having any of it and refused to acknowledge that they might not have stolen money. He was very adamant that he never said they did. He always just had to say that they could have.
Right. And actually, we've already argued about this painfully long. But, so I will just say, I like Bitstamp. I've never used them, but they seem okay to me. So that even though it sounds dumb, and even though I've said it 100 times, that is all I'm saying, is that it is just possible, and I'm not actually worried about much. So I do want to make that clear. I'm not too worried about much. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that's possible with anything, and what I think the difference is like, if they say that they can do that, even if everybody decides to withdraw all their stuff right now, and they can't fulfill all that they will over time do it, even if they can't do it all right now. That's what I was trying to say, I guess.
Yeah, and that is certainly possible. I think from what they wrote earlier, I'm pretty sure they were saying that they would cover, that it was covered immediately, and that they had that much money already. But that is true, John. I know what you're saying, and I think you're right. Even if they didn't have the money, they would get it eventually. So anyway, no need to drag that on much longer. We already have a whole episode about it.
Oh, man.
Thanks for listening to episode 55. Remember to visit you, me, and btc.com to find this week's show notes and leave us a comment. Let us know if you've used Purse.io before or if you're interested. All of the music in today's show was from John Stuart. We'll see you next Thursday.